Sean, thank you for your comment. Anne Marie and I were backstage just talking and talking and talking, and we almost forgot we had to come on to LinkedIn Live that we are 5 minutes late for because I was so busy catching up with you. Anne
Well,
Marie,
this
thanks
is
for
so
being
fun.
here.
Thanks so much for having me, and what a treat it is to just have just some back and forth talk. So thanks.
Well, I had Kristen Andrews on probably a few weeks ago, and she turned me on to the phrase fast friends. That's what she'll say. She's like, we are going to be fast friends. And I will say, I'm going to make Anne Marie give her own intro. I'm notorious for this, but the only thing I will throw out is she is my fastest friend to
Mm.
date. And I am so lucky to have a friendship with you. So thank you for being here. And I have to ask, what can I get you to drink?
Well, I think because we are matching and fast friends, it has to be something like blackberry-ish, right? So maybe a blackberry lemonade. I know we're in the fall, and that's definitely a springish drink, but I'm artsy, and I feel like we should just go with the theme. Go
Let's
go
do
with
it.
this like purple blackberry fast friend sipping lemonade drink.
It's such an appropriate theme. I'll put a little bit of tea in mine.
Hmm.
Good choice. I had an energy drink and I'm committing to not having a second energy drink today. So I have got a detox tea that I will be pouring right after this conversation.
Okay, I like it. I
Wish
like
me
it.
luck. Hopefully it goes
Yeah.
down well. All right, Sean, thank you. We're here. We're ready to go. Anne Marie, tell the world who you are. Tell them about your background. Here's you have to do a self intro. I'm the worst, by the way.
Well, thank you for giving me the mic, and thank you again for having me and letting me be a part of your network. I think that's truly what a fast friend does is they connect people. And that probably is one of my very favorite things to do when my friends become friends. It is just, it is inspiring and really what motivates me. So I would say the first way I'd like to introduce myself is I'm a people person. I love my friends and family, and celebrating them is probably at the very top of my list of pastimes. I think it's even a hobby of mine. I would classify celebrating friends and family and with friends and family as a hobby. I have four children, the ages of 8 to 18. So I call myself a circus ringleader because that is really what I do. I am very much in the throes of motherhood and balancing my professional aspirations and business. And so, but I mothering has helped me in every part of my professional career. And truly, I wanted that to be one of the first things I introduce, as well as I'm a wife and married my husband nearly 20 years ago, and he is the steady to my wild beat. So we are opposites. I like the party; he sits back. So together we make the dynamic team.
Well, oddly
Um,
enough, I your husband's name came up in a conversation yesterday. Hiram, right? Isn't that
yes,
your husband's
Hiram,
name?
correct.
I was meeting with Brandon Gray, who is like, I saw that you're friends with Anne Marie, but I need to get to know her more. But he's kind of the standoffish, kind of back type of executive. And I
Mhm.
guess you guys, anyways, he was like, but I talked to Hiram and I was
Yes,
like, that's probably a really good match.
it
So,
is. He is
Brandon, if you're watching, I would
Brandon.
say Brandon and Hiram, good match.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So now that I've got my family out there, so you know what makes me tick, I will tell you about my professional career. So after college, I started my career in Washington D.C. in event planning, and because I mentioned I love to celebrate, I thought event planning. I know good parties. I will be an event planner. So I started my career planning all sorts of fun events. I planned an event for Oprah. I was part of American Idol. I mean, government, you name it. I had such a fun job planning events, weddings. I mean, I could tell you stories. There are stories when you are an event planner.
Working 24/7, right? I mean, I just
Yes.
imagine it's a 24/7 gig.
It's a 24/7 gig, and it is never ending. And through that process, I learned that my skill set was marketing and capturing the talent at the events. And what makes a great event really is the talent. Emily, we went to an event together last night, and we were just talking about what an inspiring panel it was. And it was truly because the event was stacked appropriately with dynamic women who inspired us. And so I learned quickly that a good event is about the talent. So I built a speaking talent bureau, and I did that for several years, and I focused in on the healthcare space. So I got to interview and help prep and market the best of the best thought leaders in healthcare. So that is an interesting transition from events, but as we do, Emily, in our careers, we pivot and we lean in to really what our skill sets bring to the surface, right? I don't know if I'm sure you could tell a story about a transition in your career where you said, okay, now I'm leaning into to this bright to this talent or this bright shift, right?
Absolutely. I think that is one of the things I saw a quote really early on in my career. It was like on a wall of an office I was visiting in my very young 20s, and it says it's something to the effect of success is recognizing the opportunity. And that has always stuck with me because when I start thinking about a pivot or an expansion or a project or an idea, I have to question myself, is this an opportunity for success that I need to capitalize on? Or is this just like, I always go back to that quote. So yeah.
It's absolutely true. Speaking of that, I had the opportunity to merge with a larger consulting firm and again, grew the business. But I knew it was time to be done, and the consulting firm ended up buying the speaking bureau, and so I stepped away to do different marketing projects.
Which
and
is awesome that you had a successful event, by the way.
It was, and I think if I look back to that time, I told myself, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Maybe 10 times a day, because it was just the experience of learning how to build a business and that I could.
That's right.
So after that point in time, I heard about Gab Wireless and their amazing mission, and I was over the PR and communications there for 2 years, and left last year to full-time help grow businesses and help female founders optimize their businesses. So that's where I am now.
Which is why I'm so glad that you're in my circle. We've got to figure out a way where we can actually have not just a professional engagement, but a personal engagement, but also a professional engagement, because you have really surrounded yourself with women entrepreneurs. And every time I go somewhere, of course you're there. And I don't even go to many places. I'm trying to get better, but you kind of have a way of putting amazing people together. Like you bring people together. The first time I met you was at a party, it was Rochelle's birthday party, which
yes,
can you imagine, like, that party was 100 of Utah women that I'd always heard of, but I never really got an opportunity to meet. And here we were dancing and drinking and, like having fun and just hanging out. I made it sound like we were getting sloshed. That wasn't the situation.
Well, we were living our best lives. Every once in a while, you just have to, turn on the music. Mom's gone wild.
Moms go mild is what.
No, not. I guess it was mild, but it was pretty wild for us.
Mild was what I think the hashtag was after that party.
That is so true. That's true. Well, thank you. You're so kind to say that, because really connecting people and making strangers friends is at the deepest part of my my goals, or even just if you could say it's a value almost, it's like, it's something that I think is very important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wasn't expecting to go to the women's networking event with Mackenzie and cry last night, but freaking, I think the entire room was in tears, which we should talk about. But I will say, you picked up some really interesting clients over the course of the last 2 years. And I indicated
Yes.
in your bio, there's one client that just has captivated me and sucked me in. I'm following you on an Instagram. Like, I have so many questions. Like, tell the audience what I'm talking about here.
Okay. Well, I launched a castle, and not only launched. When I say launched a castle, I am turning it in. My marketing firm is turning it into a brand. I'll give you the backstory. One of the greatest gigs of my life is being my dad's plus one. My dad was elected governor when I was 9 years old, of the state of Utah, and I have always just been his lucky plus one. And it still continues. And I was his lucky plus one in, let's see, it was in May. And we went to Finland, and we saw the new Royal Caribbean boat because he's on the Royal Caribbean board. And on the way home, I suggested we stop in Scotland because my dad's brother had recently gone through this big career shift and decided, I've had this lifelong dream of buying a castle. And so he bought a castle. So they had just purchased this castle, and I said, Dad, let's stop, let's go. And so he did. We made a stop on the way home from Finland, and in May just walked into this dream that my uncle David, my aunt Shalom, had just purchased, which is the castle called Knockderry. And
Google
yes.
it.
Google it.
Go to the Instagram page. Like,
yes.
When I thought castle, I mean, first of all, none of this is really like, it's not in my realm of like comprehension, right? Like, none of anything that Anne Marie is saying right now is in my, but like, how many I'm putting you on the spot. Give me an idea of the size of this
So
castle.
it's an over 23,000 square foot castle, with 8 acres of land. It sits on the beautiful, overlooking the beautiful Loch Long reservoir. It is spectacular. And it had been in foreclosure over just a ridiculous amount of money for 20 years because she lost it because she didn't pay this small fine. And so David and Shalom bought it, and with the intention of throwing their hearts into it and restoring this beautiful castle. And they have this video right after they purchased it, and they're looking at each other and they're going, what the hell did we do? Like,
yeah, I would just like say, because everything, like,
what did we do?
Massive. It's so massive.
It's massive, and we're talking, it was in bad shape. I mean, they had beds that were stacked in a closet from the World War, like of wounded soldiers who had died there. I mean, just the most wild things and treasures were in this castle that they purchased. And of course we have these crazy dreams, and I have some crazy dreams, but then to actually do it is a different thing. So they had launched this blog a couple of weeks before I saw it that said, it was actually called What the Hell Did We Do? And so when I was touring this massive building and looking at this incredible room that had a unique story, or going into another room and counting, oh my gosh, 21 fireplaces in this castle. I mean, my mind is just going, this is a marketing mecca. Like my marketing mind was just going, they got to be on a TV show, right? Like, yeah. we need to capitalize on this. And so at the end of the tour, I said, David, I wouldn't normally say this, but give me 90 days. Everyone will want to know the secrets of Knockderry Castle. Will you share it with the world? And of course, David and Shalom They are remarkable and well-spoken. And so they turned on the camera and we went live. And they would show different parts of the castle or things that were creepy or enchanting or overwhelming. And
like hidden
yes,
alleyways and
right.
I mean, just the restoration of the artwork alone, how they're having to
Yes.
invest in this, and the criticism that's kind of coming after them because everyone has an opinion on how to do this. And
yes, everyone feels that this historic castle is theirs, which is so funny, right? But we had a critical moment when we launched. And the first reel that we put out did really well. And it was basically a spoof on what the hell did we do? And it was just this like really quick reel that we put together, and that went viral. And then, we were about like 2 weeks in, I think like 1,000 followers. And I thought, okay, 1,000, here we go, 1,000, and then you get to the next landmark and it was 2,000. And David sent me a video where he had thought he had found a secret staircase. And so he is in there with a shovel with someone and just knocking it out, just kind of going, just going to town on this staircase. And it was a little intense, right? Because he's just like, get me to the staircase. Like, what is this behind this hidden wall? And we post it. And just like you're saying, Emily, people were going wild. How could you do this to a historic building? This is inappropriate. So David calls me on the phone and he said, let's take it down. I respect this building. Our whole goal is that we restore it to its beauty. I mean, David and Shalom are so classy, and they truly are giving this building the gift that it deserves to reawaken. And I said, David, in my professional opinion, this is exactly what we need to go viral. Just trust me, leave it up for 24 hours. And in 24 hours, we had 3 million views, and it just went like fire. And I'm telling you, every time I opened up the Instagram, we're talking 2,000 new followers, 3,000 new followers, 4,000. And overnight, I think we grew 50,000 followers. It was wild, and it just continued to grow. And I think that reel now has, I don't know how many million views, but it just took that moment of almost where insanity meets curiosity.
Yes, that's why I was going to use the word curiosity, because
yeah,
I didn't know. I mean, we had met before. I saw it on my Instagram and I was like, what is this? Like, where is this? Like, again, trying to wrap my head around it, just the curiosity of going to the page and saying, who buys a castle? And then
who buys a castle, right? And then who shares it with the world and said, come on in and look. I mean, that's what's so generous is they could so easily say, no, we're doing this and come stay here later. But they have just opened up every part of the discovery. And there have been some really wild and unexpected discoveries.
So I want to talk about, do they have a time frame of how long this is going to take? Like, are they wanting to talk about like the investment that this is going to be? Like, how transparent do they want to be with timing and investments? And tell me some of that.
They have been extremely transparent. And I think we had no idea that launching the Inside View would lead to 500,000 followers in 12 weeks. So it is shifting and changing, where before, when they bought the castle, they thought, we'll restore it and it will be a home for us. And now people from all over the world want to come and stay and see it and experience it. And so, at this point, they're still just tossing out ideas and thinking through what the strategy will look like. But they are so focused on restoring the castle to its original beauty. That's primarily the focus. So it's hard to say what the future holds for Knockdairy, but we are launching merch for the castle. We're doing a new site. They're going to be doing streaming concerts from the music room of street talented artists that they found that need that stage of recognition. Shalom is an amazing sex therapist, and she plans to do some mental health and I believe some classes there. They've also talked about doing some murder mystery castle adventures. So at this point, we are figuring it out. We're
Totally
open. And I'm so glad to have 500,000 followers in on the journey, because that's what makes it so fun. I mean, I get emails and DMs and thoughts on what they should do. And they listen, because it's just, they're sharing it with the world. And it's been so fun to be a part of it.
Well, I want to visit the castle. I know my husband watches the show because he's my biggest fan and I adore him for that. That his heritage, I think I told you, he's Scotland. And I'm like, I know a place we can go.
Yes, you do. And we will make it happen, because it is just spectacular from the grounds. There's an orangery, a fernery. I mean, just things that you thought you didn't even know existed, but you read about, and we're talking, this is a real life castle with a dungeon. It is beyond your wildest dreams.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe I just looked at the clock. I can't believe I'm at 21 minutes. I will say this. It reminds me a little bit, and hopefully Brandon Fugel, I'm going to tag you here at the 21-minute mark. But, he's kind of this commercial real estate giant in our community.
Absolutely. And his wife, I just have to say, is flawless. She is spectacular.
Right. I mean, I've bumped into her a few times. Clearly, I don't know her as well as you do. But yeah, he definitely married up. Good job, Brandon.
Yes.
But yeah, my dad watches that Discovery show, the Skinwalker Ranch. And I'm like, who would have thought that a real estate mogul kind of has this Discovery series about this ranch? And then my dad's totally hooked to it. And he's like, what? You know Brandon? I was like, well, I know of Brandon and I've bumped into him. He lives in Utah and helps everybody, find commercial real estate. How can you not know?
Absolutely.
My dad's like, well, you need to talk to him about Skinwalker Ranch. I guess I'm sharing all this with you because I think like Discovery or someone needs to come in and add to the portfolio of what's happening over in your client's world is my thought. Is that it? Is that ever been discussed?
Well, I think we're all just curious people, right? And we to be able to be a fly on the wall when happenings occur is just the absolute addiction of us all, right? Don't we all want to be the fly on the wall? So that's just it, is marketing it just right, where the curiosity meets the insanity and the expertise, and then sharing it really and targeting that customer, like your dad, the target customer. If you align that, then the people will come, and the wildfire will capture the audience.
Well, you have my full attention on this. I have never had a host where I have taken a marketing / fast friend / woman entrepreneur champion to say, let's just set that all over here and talk about this castle, which is totally what I decided you agreed to go along with and help me out with today. I do want to wrap this up with a lightning round.
Okay.
So because we have done a lot of women events together, particularly recently, let's talk about the woman entrepreneur that you're geeking out on that I need to follow if I'm not already.
Well, first I will say I am a big fan of Masterclass. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's an online platform where you can watch classes from just thought leaders that have an incredible background. And so I recently watched Whitney Wolf Herd. She's got 3 names, so I wanted to make sure to get that right. But she is the creator of Bumble and Tinder, and she has a class that I watched just recently that was on rewriting the rules. And I approach things from a marketing lens and as a woman of the importance of rewriting the rules. So to hear her say it has worked for me, and I have put the passion into action, has been something that I have thought through as I've worked to put different strategies in place for several clients.
What a powerhouse to choose. Women events, you're at all the events, you're going to all the places. What's happening next in Utah that we should put on our radar?
I have been watching the Utah Business Forward that Melanie Paris Jones is putting on with her great team, and the beautiful cover that was put out. And I'm going to be out of town, so I'm not able to make it. But I wouldn't have missed it if I could be there, because she has put together star talent and expertise that I would really encourage everyone to just go and be inspired and learn from these thought leaders.
Oh, I'm so glad that you did that shout out. I already have like a breakfast date the morning before Gail Miller that I'm so excited about.
Gail Miller, let's fangirl over Gail Miller, right? Just what a I should have. I would pick her any day to be someone that I aspire.
That's a given. Everyone knows
to learn from. She is.
Knows that she's in the list. And I will say, I think, and you'll know more about this than I do, but I love how Larry H. Miller, and I know, I really don't know, but I feel like I do know. I think Gail has really said, like, Amanda Covington, like, we're going to champion you. Like, we're giving you the stage, the mic, we're giving you opportunity for influence. And instead of Gail taking all that for herself, she is using it to promote, like, women leadership at all different levels. I got Brianne Johnson over there in HR that I love. I love Brianne. I'm tagging you, Brianne.
Yeah, I will say this. Steve Starks actually introduced me to Amanda Covington at a time that I was looking. I shouldn't say I wasn't looking, but I was looking for a strong female mentor. And so that just goes again to show just a great organization. You've got Steve Starks, you've got Amanda Covington, you've got Gail Miller, of course. And as I mentioned, being my dad's plus one, I would go to the events with Larry H. Miller. And I have a distinct memory of when he opened at the opening ceremonies of the ballpark on 13th South. And I remember him just sobbing with the tenderness and thanking Gail and his family for letting this dream come to reality. And I think, again, having that organization with the leadership in Utah is just something that we don't recognize enough.
Agree. I totally agree. I had the, mayor of South Jordan on a few weeks ago, and
yes.
I'm telling you, Larry H. Miller family, just what they're going to do and continue.
Right.
Anyway, that could be a whole nother segment. Last but not least, this has been my longest interview ever. I'm really sorry. You guys can tell I love Anne-Marie, and I could talk.
It's mutual. We could.
Last question. I can't hang up or end the interview without talking about something home building related. Like,
yes,
on top of your marketing hat, on top of your clients, on top of everything we talked about, talk to me about home building and design. Tell me what that's all about in your world.
Yes. So I'm a co-founder of High Craft Homes, and High Craft is spelled H-Y Craft after my husband, Hiram. It's a company out of Texas. My husband's brother runs the day-to-day and sells the homes. And I do the marketing and design of the properties, as well as some spec investments. And follow us on Instagram, because my team captures quite a bit of great content, and there's some good stuff on what we're building. And the new model home is just days away from its grand reveal, and I'm very proud of it. So thanks for bringing that up.
Well, when I build a custom home, you are the girl I'm calling. That's for sure.
Call me. You learn a lot of things from trial and error, and we also build barn dominiums. And so I've learned a lot from the barn dominium builds to the custom home.
Don't
so
say that. My husband's telling me one right now. Did he plant you to say that?
He did. But really, keep me on the short list. I'll help you every step of the way.
I pushed back on this barn, but yeah, that's what he said I was giving him for Christmas. So
I love it.
A barn, Anne-Marie.
Well, I let's make that dream come to life.
The pad's already laid, like It's happening.
Good.
It's a thing. So yes, Corey, I know. He's the only one still
Mhm.
listening. All right. Anne Marie, I seriously, next time I will book you out for at least 2 hours because there's so much more I can
Please.
talk to you about. But this has been a delight. Like, thank you so much. And I will see you hopefully very soon. Okay.
I hope so. Thanks for having me, and thanks for listening.
Thanks, Anne. Bye.